How's it going? I just pounded like a 3-piece chicken tender meal with the spiciest level that the restaurant offered, and my guts currently feel like Dante's Inferno, but we're talking about some books today. So this month has been, in a way, kicking my ass. I am now taking AP classes. I'm taking my first APs of the year, which I'm a junior, so I think that tells you all that you need to know. Anyway, so because of that, I read like four books this month, which is not that bad, I don't think, but you know how it is. Anyway, so first book I read this year was Homesick for Another World by Otessa Moshfegh. This is my introduction to Otessa Moshfegh novels. I've heard a lot of very interesting things about her. She's really a very you either love her or hate her kind of author, and honestly, I liked her. I enjoyed this book. I feel like excuse me, I feel like through this introduction, I've really fallen in love with Otessa Moshfegh's books. So basically, Homesick for Another World is just Homesick for Another World is a collection of short stories through different people, and these people are morally not the greatest, you know. They're very interesting, you know. They lead a bunch of different kinds of lives. Some of these people are like taking advantage of their partners, possibly it's very human, I would describe. It's I mean, it was fun, don't get me wrong. It was really fun to read. I had a good time. I think it was interesting. I think that Otessa Moshfegh deserves more than the cards that she's been dealt with. These people are like, the people that she writes about are definitely not like people you would want in your life, but honestly, we need shitty people representation. Like, not gonna lie, if we don't know what a shitty person looks like, how are we gonna know what a shitty person looks like in real life? That's my point. But I feel like a lot of people hate her for that, and I don't think that's really fair. Not only on the basis of like, writing is art and art is subjective, but also because she can write whatever she wants, so to claim her as a bad author or anything like that because she writes about people who are not morally reprehensible, it's just not really smart. I'm not saying, however, I will admit, not liking any sort of media is completely valid, okay? You don't have to like it, but I feel like not liking something because the characters that are being written aren't good people is very ignorant, and it will stop you from enjoying a lot of really good media. Whew. Excuse me. It will stop you from enjoying a lot of really good media. And yeah, I feel like people should give Otessa Moshfegh more of a chance. The next book I read was The Picture of Dorian Gray by Oscar Wilde. This is a special edition that my grandmother got me for the holidays. Um, and honestly, like, there's nothing, I mean, it's good. Like, we all know it's good. Um, but the picture of Dorian Gray is a lot more than what meets the eye. It's about a man who, basically sells his soul for eternal youth and immortality. And every single time he does something that is not okay, that's illegal or just bad, it will reflect on his portrait rather than him himself. So he literally just goes, so this character, Dorian Gray, just goes about life under the influence of a man who is basically his sugar daddy, but it's not really like, but it's the 1890s, so it's his friend, you know, which is really interesting. What was I saying? Anyway, it's really good. Of course, he gets up to very morally reprehensible things, which, honestly, now that I'm talking about it, it's really interesting that this is, praised to be one of the greatest pieces of fiction. Like, this is a classic. This is timeless. And I mean, it is unfair to compare Oscar Wilde's work to Ottessa Moshfegh's, considering how this man has literally rewritten pop culture. However, I think it's interesting that people praise this novel, but they'll insult Ottessa Moshfegh when they write about the same archetypes. Kind of makes you think, doesn't it? But anyway, I really enjoyed this. I think y'all already know I'm a very big Secret History fan, and the dynamic between Dorian Gray and Henry really reminded me of Julian and Henry in the Secret History. So that was really interesting to read. Honestly, Julian Henry and Julian Henry and Bunny in the Secret History really reminded me of Dorian Henry and Basil in this book. And it was really interesting to see where Donna Tartt possibly took inspiration from. But yeah, this book was really enjoyable. I liked it a whole lot. The little twists and turns are really fun to read. It's just fun, okay? Though I will say, the phrase "good boy" has been in this like multiple times, and it's like, at this point, Oscar Wilde, you kind of deserved it. Just kidding. But yeah, really fun. I really enjoyed this. So next we have The Only Girl in Town by Ali Conde, I don't know, which is basically about this girl named July, and she wakes up in her small town with everyone gone, right? Excuse me again. When I first read this premise, I was like, oh, that's really cool, you know? I thought I was looking for more of a thriller mystery aspect, but this book was more of a like metaphor, you know? Which, like, not to spoil it, but honestly I wouldn't even recommend this at all because the chapters are really short, and I don't like that. Like, here. This is a chapter, and it's not even a it's a like 3rd grade level paragraph. I don't like that. I just think it's interesting that chapters like in modern books have gotten like shorter and shorter, whereas like it's now like 3 pages to a chapter instead of like a typical, I'd say, 10 to 15 pages in like Picture Dorian Gray, you know. It just like it makes books like, it makes you go through the books much faster, and I guess it's kind of a, you go faster through the books, you want to read more books, you buy more books, which I don't really mess with. So yeah, I did read this book really fast because of that, and because I got through it fast, I didn't really enjoy it. Like, I kind of just got done with it and I just didn't really feel anything. I mean, the story could have been good. I just, because it really was an interesting concept, and the little twist at the end I did enjoy. However, I feel like there's just more that could have been done with it. I would recommend this book if you just like want something easy to understand, like to read. But if you're like me and you just want a book that will make you think, I don't really recommend this. Yeah, like you go throughout the book, and like each chapter is different. Like every other chapter, it's like the events leading up to her waking up with like everyone gone, and then the present is like her going throughout the town, trying to figure out like what's going on. She has her family cat with her, and the ending for the most part is inconclusive, but like you can kind of figure out what happened. Yeah, it was okay. I liked it. And so now, moving on to the final book that I've read this month, The Goldfinch by Donna Tartt. This book is like almost 800 pages. I started it back in like early December of last year, but I mean, I finished it this month, so obviously so I feel like it's just appropriate to add it into this compilation. As you can tell, it took a long time for me to read it, to the point where, you know, I took breaks and read other books. But just like anything that Donna Tartt touches, it just turns into absolute gold. The Goldfinch follows a boy named Theodore Decker as he goes throughout his life in the past 15 years. The events of the book, this book goes over the course of like 15 years, so that kind of makes sense for it to be as long as it is. So it starts out with him living in New York City with his mom. He takes off school one day and they go to an art museum, and there's a terrorist attack at the museum. It gets bombed, like, and his mom passes away, and he is like, and of course he's like 12 years old, heartbroken, and he steals a painting called The Goldfinch. And soon enough, this painting becomes a complete, a very strong object of obsession for Theodore. He moves in with his dad, and who lives in Vegas. He meets this guy named Boris, and I would say Boris like ruined Theodore's life. Boris is this like Russian immigrant who also lives with his dad, who is a miner. So Boris spends a lot of time alone. He is like an alcoholic at the age of 14, you know, very, very troubled person. So much happens, like, to the point where I kind of want to make my own video about it, but I already said I was going to make a video about the secret history, but and I will do that, but I've lended the book to someone right now, so I'm going to do that eventually, I promise. But anyway, I really enjoyed this. Just like I've enjoyed everything Donna Tartt has ever written. The ending was really interesting. I won't delve into that, obviously. But I wholeheartedly recommend this book, even though it is a lot to take in. Like, look at, this book is humongous, and look how small the lettering is. Like, this woman is a yapper, and I can respect that, honestly. I respect Donna Tartt so much as an author, and I'm so excited to read her other novel, The Little Friend, which I would say is the most underrated of the three that she has written. Like, people always want to talk about The Goldfinch and especially The Secret History, but there's a certain beauty in Southern Gothic horror stories, as The Little Friend has been described. And I'm not saying that The Goldfinch or The Secret History definitely didn't deserve their recognition, because dear God do they do. I just feel like every single thing, Donna Tartt has the Midas touch, you know what I mean? Like, this woman is, she's everything. Anyway, she's absolutely everything. So yeah, that concludes everything that I've read this month. I was thinking about doing a like TBR or to be read. However, I don't really like plan what I read. I just have a bunch of books that I've bought in the past, and I'm just trying to get through them, and whatever I read, you know. I don't really have, it's just really on a how I feel basis, kind of how I am with these YouTube videos. I just kind of do what I want when I want, because I mean, I have the right to, you know. But anyway, if you guys just tell me what you think, etc. If you have any recommendations, anything like that. Yeah, thanks for watching.